Good morning, church. In this series, we're answering the question, what do you believe? The Church of the Word Statement of Faith says the following about Christian marriage. We believe that Christian marriage is a sacred institution ordained by God for the happiness and well-being of mankind and the propagation of the human race. It is the spiritual and physical union of one man and one woman according to Scripture. Adultery was punishable by death in the Old Testament. Leviticus 20, verse 10 says, "If a man commits adultery with another man's wife, even he who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death." This is because committing adultery violated the Ten Commandments. Both Exodus 20, verse 14, and Deuteronomy 5, verse 18 say, "You shall not commit adultery." This is a specific command. Many would say that Christians can ignore this because we're under grace now, not under the law. While that may be true, the application of this idea does not mean you can go around sinning with no consequences. In fact, the law of grace includes the Ten Commandments. Jesus came to fulfill the law, not abolish it. Look at Romans 13:9. "For the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony, you shall not covet, and if there are any other commandments, are summed up in this, saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself." So the command from Jesus to love your neighbor as yourself includes those of the Ten Commandments listed. For our purposes today, loving your neighbor as yourself means do not commit adultery. Adultery doesn't just break your marriage, it also breaks you. Proverbs 6:32 says, "But whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. He who does it destroys his own soul." You destroy your own soul by doing this. The same can be said of sexual immorality, which is sinning against yourself, and lust in general. Matthew 5, verses 27 to 28, Jesus says, "You have heard that it was said by the ancients, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that whoever looks on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart." Even looking at a woman, or looking at a man if you're a woman, with lust is adultery. Jesus doesn't differentiate married or unmarried here, but this is especially true within marriage. Continuing in verses 29 to 30, Jesus says, "And if your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and throw it away. For it is profitable that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body be thrown into hell." Yesterday I commented that divorcing is equivalent of cutting your flesh apart. This is true. However, Jesus says in the case of lust that it is better for you to pluck out your eye or cut off your hand if they offend you, so you don't get sent to hell. Perhaps this is the reason that he said divorce is permissible only in the case of sexual immorality. If the two of you become one flesh in marriage, then divorcing due to sexual immorality is akin to plucking out your offending right eye or cutting off your offending right hand. It is better to do this than to burn in hell for eternity. We'll look deeper at sexual immorality in general tomorrow. Have a blessed day.